Halvard, it continues to be quite a ride. You're busy. Sadly, you're only turning out a new battery every 7 minutes instead of 6, but it seems to be very, very good times at the moment.
Yeah, we need some tuning in our factory to get to our target, but the target is still one module of Orca Energy every 6 minutes. And since we're opening tomorrow, we will very soon get to that number.
Now, you took the opportunity at the conference to talk about the Corvus Blue Marlin and obviously the Corvus Whale. Is there any chemical difference between the two?
Yeah, the both of them. The blue whale is a battery for, as the name, it's supposed to swim for many hours in the sea, and that has not any NMC chemistry. That means there has no cobalt and that kind of things, and that makes it different. And that is the reason why it has a lower specification on the C rate. The blue Marlin has a very high C rate, and that is based on a kind of capacitor type of battery.
Now you speak about the idea of something running on and on at sea. We also spoke about in your session potential recharging strategies for 10 megawatt cruise ships.
Yeah, so the 10 megawatt hour cruise ship can charge in many ways. Of course, it can charge with its own LNG gen sets on board, or it can charge with a gen set of a diesel on board if it has that. But it can also charge from shore when they have several hours. The cruise vessel lies in the harbor for 6, 7, 8 hours, and then they can run, if they have shore power, they can run the hotel and in addition charge the battery over this period of time.
Now you speak about charging of batteries. Has the technology evolved to a point where a battery can be charged in, say, 3 or 4 minutes without any adverse effects?
Yeah, so if you want to charge a battery in 3-4 minutes, it is a typical car ferry, and then it's a typical Orca Energy NMC type of battery. So then the ferry crosses the fjord, and it consumes maybe 15-20% of the battery energy, and then it can be recharged in 3-4 minutes and go back and do this 30 plus times per day in a 10-year period without affecting life.
You mentioned ferries. Obviously, one cannot avoid talking about investment cases. What's the average investment difference between, say, a battery-powered ferry and a conventional one, and is the price gap closing?
Yeah, I'm not into the building of the ferry, but there is slight higher capex by using battery, but the OPEX is very much reduced. So like the Ampere, it takes about $10 in US dollar in electricity bill to cross the fjord, and you have zero emission, almost no maintenance because you don't have any engines.
Now we're talking money, and we're talking about the fact you have a new factory opening tomorrow. Can the market expect a price drop given that you have the new facility, you have scale, and of course your production is highly automated?
Yeah, so this is something that we have taken into the pricing already. The price on battery has dropped the last couple of years dramatically, and we have already adopted the price to the new cost level that we have in the factory. So we have already sold several of the production capacity of the new factory already.
Well, we're talking about production and manufacture, but of course a major issue in this area is recycling. Are you aware of any major studies into the required energy needed for recycling of batteries?
Not really the energy required to do recycling, but what we see is that we see after a 10-year typical operation on a vessel, we foresee a second life that can be several years. And then we will foresee the recycling, and like the Orca Energy, we can recycle up to 99% of the weight of the battery. And we know that all the electric cars will drive down the cost of recycling the battery. So the cost, and if you then use the energy from renewable, like hydropower, when you recycle the battery, that will really take this problem away.
Now, something that is marking your company out is the range and the investment in new products, in new lines. What sort of percentage of turnover do you commit to R&D, and what is your target, or what do you see as a realistic target for battery density going forward?
Yeah, to the R&D, we are growing, as you say, very fast. So a percentage doesn't really work, but we have currently roughly 35 to 40 people constantly developing a battery for us. And we foresee that there is no one size fits all. So that's why we have 7 different batteries, so we can always make the right choice for the customer, and not compromising on density or C-rate, or giving like a Formula 1 car. You can drive it to the grocery store, but it's not optimum.
You talk about having a different battery for a different occasion, if you like. At the moment, production is concentrated in Norway, but can you foresee opening new factories of this type in other parts of the world, given the projected demands?
Yeah, we see now that every vessel can benefit from energy storage. We currently now have the factory in Vancouver, which is a manual factory at the moment. And when the opening tomorrow and into next year early, we will do the Canadian factory up to an automatic assembly. And then the next step, we will deliver all the North American ones from Vancouver, Europe from Norway. So then it's obvious we have to look for Asia to do something there.
Would that be Singapore?
And that so far we haven't come, but it will be somewhere in Asia. And Asia is a big part of the world.
It is indeed. We're talking at the 2/3 mark of today's Maritime Hybrid and Electric Conference. How have you found the event?
No, I find this event very well received from all the people I've talked to. And for sure, Norway is a front runner in the zero emission and hybrid, both in the battery side, but also in the integration and ship owners and the whole cluster. So I'm really pleased that you decided to put the conference into Bergen, and I'm sure that next year you will be able to double the amount of people.
We look forward to seeing you among them. Halvard, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.